everyone. Today we're going to be presenting on the United States Hispanic Leadership Institute conference that took place in February back in Chicago. My name is Graciela Popoca and I'm a social work major.
Hi guys, my name is Betsy Serrano and I'm majoring in psychology and minoring in Spanish.
Okay, so the workshop we're going to be presenting on is called What's Your Young Inspired Latina Moment? But before we get to this workshop, we're going to be talking about what led up to the workshop. So, we started off our morning with the Latina Empowerment Breakfast, and this was a great opportunity for us to see these Latina leaders that we usually don't see like on our daily life. Ultimately, my favorite one was the guest speaker Denise Foreman, just because I liked her poem pieces she wrote, and I felt like there was definitely a huge connection I felt with her and the poems she was saying that day. So some of the workshops that had to do a lot with personally for me, I feel like they had to do with like Latina was Huelga, Finding Your Voice. Your story is your power, and my favorite one was which was Stop Shrinking, Start Rising, Mujeres. And definitely I feel like this was a great opportunity for us to
Dancing for my folkloric dances. I don't really have like a specific story when I got inspired, but usually when I am dancing those Mexican dances, I feel more motivated to show my Mexican culture, and I hope I inspire other Latinas too.
Okay, definitely agree on that. And I feel like for me, it has to do a lot with when I started attending UIS, just because, coming from the south side of Chicago, I really didn't see like that many like white people. So going to a predominantly white institution was definitely shocking. But for me, it was understanding that I deserved to be at the university as well as my white peers, and nothing was going to stop me. I know the challenging parts were trying to find that home away from home and trying to find those resources because I knew I was going to need that additional support just because, I am a first generation college student. But like for me, I think something that really inspired me was that yeah, I worked off like I did all the work to be at that place. So for me, it was like this is not me trying to, make myself feel vulnerable at a predominantly white institution, but embracing my Latina roots. So then we're gonna go on to our one of our speakers, the speaker at the workshop, which was Jacqueline Camacho-Ruiz. She is the founder of today's Inspired Latina, also president and founder of the Fig Factor Foundation, which she's currently working on future Latina leaders. She's an entrepreneur, and she's referred to as a dream catcher. She believes taking off is optional, landing on your dreams is mandatory. And this is one of the quotes she was constantly saying during the workshop. And I really did it was really inspiring because like you really don't think about it that way. But I know after she was talking about how this not holiday, like this national day she wanted to create, which was the Young Latina Day, and it was supposed to be on April 11th, 2020. And she was talking about how she was going to come down to Springfield on April 2nd and, talk to these officials and all that at the Capitol. And definitely after the workshop was over, you should have seen us running towards her and talking to her, telling her, hey, we're from UIS. We would love to participate. I don't know if there's a way we can, connect with you using those networking skills. And she definitely she welcomed us, and she told us that we could go with her. And it was something really nice because you really don't feel like speakers would approach you that way just because they have their own business and stuff like that. But like I said, she was really welcoming and she wanted to see our faces there. So Unfortunately, the event couldn't happen just because of all this going on, but we are definitely going to connect with her for future events because she is really inspiring. And now we're going to go to our panelist.
So after Jacqueline introduced herself, she introduced to us these four young ladies. The name is Andrea Vallejo, Scarlett Magaña, Samantha Ante, and Gina Cardino. So basically, these young ladies they have their own careers, their own individual life, and then Jacqueline actually contacted them, and then are they are now basically co-authors for the Young Latina book, and they each write their own young Latina moment, and it's amazing how you like it's like a small world, like you're living like your own life, and then somehow you get contacted by this author, and then you meet other people, and you have like similar stories, and that's how they all just came together. And I really think that this book is really inspiring, and it actually motivates me since I'm like a writer. Like I definitely don't want to be one in one of their books, but I mean, these girls had their own little stories that they had to tell us and how they became the person they are today.
So now we're going to education statistics.
So in the education statistics, we all know that like white Americans have a bigger advancement than Latin students, and it definitely shows a lot. But in some stats that I found was that in 2002, the graduation rates in college for white Americans was 58%, and then for Latinx students, it was 45.7. And then during in 2015, both white American and Latinx students rose. So in 2015, the graduation rates were 63.3, and Latinx students, the rates were 3.6. It definitely shows that both of them rose, but there's like a smaller gap in 2015 than in 2002. And then in 2014, it showed that white people mostly went to a 4-year college or university than a 2-year college. And for Latinx students, it was basically split in half. They either went to a 2-year college or they went to a 4-year college, but it still means that we're still getting our education.
So she talked a lot about pushing yourself to succeed, and she made it into like little bullet points on how to make this happen. So first, you get inspired and you create a vision of what you want to do. So you capture this idea and you share it with others, because you don't know like if your peers have also thought about this but they didn't take that additional step you did, right? So take that first step into making it happen, and making sure you stick to it and you commit, even though you feel like it may not be going how you planned, still staying with it and committing with it. And then that's when you can get real, you start evaluating it and you adjust to like how you think it's best for this, like whatever it's like a program you're trying to plan and stuff like that. And then even though it doesn't come out how you wanted it, let's say you made an event and only 2 people showed up, well, you celebrate your accomplishment because you did something right for those 2 people to come. And then you just, something she really said was that you learn from this experience and how to grow. Like, don't like give up on yourself, and like, like take these little accomplishments to a full advantage. And lastly, we want to end with empowering your Latinas. Make sure that just because people say, I know for like a lot of in our generation, it's like, just worry about yourself, but don't. I feel like we need to push ourselves to like, make sure that there's not only one table, like one chair in that table for like a Latina. Make room for your other peers, because like I feel like we need to push each other to grow. And definitely, if you don't identify as a Latina, push your Latinas, because let's face it, like we're the ones who like have been going through a lot of struggles, challenges, especially with education and like getting in those high career fields, being a leader and stuff like that. So we just want to, that's something we took off of the whole workshop, was just empowering each other to grow and not seeing each other as a threat. So thank you for listening to our presentation.